Hey, thanks for coming back to the channel. Well, I've got some air compressor content. I picked this unit up on the Facebook Marketplace. It's a Palatek rotary screw compressor, 5 horsepower, single phase. So basically everybody that's watching could run this at their home if they wanted to. I paid $400 for it. Let me get this thing up in the air a little bit and we'll take a little closer look at it. So one thing that you can notice right off the bat is how well it's been taken care of. That's for sure. And it's got 1,094 hours on it, which is really not much. You can just note the cleanliness. So I guess it was sold by old Interbay air compressor, and apparently the load solenoid valve got a little loose, so they kind of tied it up, and then they had a little problem with the control line here leaking, so they taped that up, you know. Of course, you can see that the minimum pressure check valve it's been replaced. One of my biggest pet peeves here watching YouTube videos, and you watch these service technicians service these units, and you know, they do a really good job until it comes to this valve right here, and they just leave this alone. It's like, no, don't get into that thing. And it's really foolish because it's probably one of the most key maintenance items to the whole unit, and I'll get to that in the series video here. It's got a giant relief valve on it for the flow of the machine. It's missing the little pull ring on it, so we'll have to do something about that to replace that for sure. Of course, the scavenger line on the separators, really pristine. Nice work there. So when I went and looked at it, it had been sitting for a while, there's no doubt about it, because I thought it was kind of locked up. I thought it was kind of weird, it kind of turns a little bit, but not. And I've seen this before, the belts were actually literally rusted to the shiv. So we'll have to see how badly pitted the pulleys are. Okay, so this is a load-unload machine. There's no modulation in it. And it's probably the cheapest way you can possibly unload a machine, or yeah, basically unload a machine with just this one solenoid valve, a two-way solenoid valve. It's relying on a lot of leaks for it to work, I can tell you that right now, and it's just a hokey setup that just sucks really bad. It doesn't have to be that way. I want to put modulation on this. Thankfully, it already has dual control. It's just typical with an early Palatek unit. So it's got run, off, auto. Normally it'd be hand auto off, and hand would be run, and then auto would be auto. The difference between the two is when the compressor unloads in the automatic mode, it starts a timer running, and if it doesn't call for air within the time that the timer is set for, the compressor shuts down. And then on falling air pressure, the contacts close and the unit starts itself up again. In the hand, or in this case, the run mode, the compressor does just what I said it does, except for there's no timer involved. It just loads and unloads and runs all day long. As you'll notice, it's got a really super nice cord on here. I mean, it'll work. It's just, you just don't know it. I've never seen this before, but it's a dryer cord. And inside the control panel here, pretty basic situation here. Although I'm really surprised that they used a 3-pole contactor. I mean, I did that with the Atlas Copco because I just didn't want to put one in there, but you would think a compressor manufacturer would put a 2-pole contactor, not a 3-pole contactor, and just use 2 of the poles. And then I always wondered if the overload would really actually work right. Apparently, maybe, I guess it does. So anyhow, we have 2 pressure switches here, and one is the air pressure switch and one is a sump pressure switch. And they're so unsure of their controls, they put a sump pressure switch on here. So if it's in auto and it shuts off and it doesn't blow down, it won't try to start under a load. That's the whole idea of the other switch. And if it's kind of interesting, if you trace it back, it goes all the way back up over here to the inlet. I'll show you. So with the automotive style air filter removed, this I just can't stand looking at shit like this. I'm sorry sorry for that, but I haven't run the unit. And you can see how klutzy this really is. I mean, this is bolted to the air end, and it's sandwiched, it kind of just sits just above the old shroud here, or the guard. It has an open style inlet, so this is the way the United States machines mostly work, is when you start them up, bam, they start making air pressure. Unless they have a special closed inlet system with a pressure vessel and a few different things. But most of them in the United States, when you hit the start button, it starts pumping air. And so it's an open inlet, really easy to make this modulate. If it's like the European kind where this is spring loaded and this is stuck shut and you literally have to have air pressure around here to actually overcome the spring tension that holds it closed, those machines are very, very difficult to get to modulate. So I'm gonna take this little plate off here. Let's see what's under here. All right, now with the shitty piece of crap intake off of here, and this is a pile of junk, by the way. I don't like it at all. It's designed to leak and close, and it's really inefficient when it comes to unloading. It doesn't unload like it should. I haven't run this unit, so I'll show you this when we get it up and running, if it'll even run. At any rate, I will get it to run though, don't worry about that. It's inside the rotor cavity, so it does turn over. And so that's a good thing. So what I'm looking to do here is to make this better. An inlet valve that actually closes off like it should. And then some controls on here like it should have. It should have a blowdown valve. It should have a 3-way solenoid valve on it. And I want to put a full load solenoid valve just before the back pressure regulator. That's the regulator that modulates the intake to match the air demand. I put a channel locks on here just to see if this would come loose, and it just wouldn't budge at all. And I've had brand new machines and maintained them through their whole life. I mean, for a good 20 years, literally, the same machine, and never had to replace this valve. If you service it once a year, you'll never have a problem with it. But you know, there's a lot, guys just don't want to take this thing apart. I don't know why. They get super gummed up inside. It's a huge maintenance item. It's kind of like a pet peeve of mine. I don't know why. Maybe it's just to make money. I don't know. Right, if you follow along through this video here, you should be able to take just about any air compressor and put these controls on it that I'm going to put on here and achieve the same reliability. You know, if you find that you bought something used like I did, you know, maybe it's an Atlas Copco, and you can do different things with these things. You're not locked into the manufacturer. If you just know how all these things, how they work, the principle's all the same. It's a rotary screw air compressor, and they're all rotary screw air compressors. They all have inlet valves, they all have thermal valves, they all have separator elements, they all have sump tanks, and so on and so forth. They're just controlled differently. So stay tuned and watch along for this video of test running it, which will be the first thing, just to make sure everything works. And then just all the upgrades that I'm gonna do to it, and we'll go along and point out all the little different things and why they work like they do and how they work.